Mags on. Let's go. Fire. Rifle. Mitrovic. Fire. Ah, screw it. Whoa! Whoa! Did I just get hit by a tank? What the? Yeah, dude, I think I just got hit by the main gun of an M60.
Alright, welcome back everybody to some more Hind gameplay, and this time around I have some ATGM gameplay with the Sturm-S? What, I forgot what they're called, but yeah, the ATGM's available, or at least one of them, available on the Mi-24P Hind. I didn't, obviously, if you watched the previous Hind video, I didn't get to use the ATGMs because it was a special event and I had to be forced to use rockets, which honestly was really fun. So this time around, it's not a special event, so I'm able to just use them freely as I wish. Unfortunately, I only had time to do one flyout with the Mi-24 using the ATGMs, but you know, I think I didn't fire every single one, but I fired most of them at least. And I guess I would just like to give my opinion on the Mi-24. I'm not a helicopter flyer. Only helicopter I've flown in the game is the Mi-24. Well, correction, I flew the Mi-8 test drives and stuff like that, and I did the tutorials for the weapons as of making this video. So I'll be doing videos on that in the future, because I do need to get better at helo flying, but I'm not going to be flying the Mi-24 for a while just because I don't own it. This was just a trial. But at least I can give my opinion on what I think about the Mi-24 and helicopters in general as a non-helicopter flyer, if anyone is interested in buying a helicopter. Like I said, I don't own the Gazelle, I don't own the Huey, haven't test flown them. I own the Mi-8 now, but I haven't flown it all that much. But what I can tell you about the Hind for sure is that it definitely feels heavier. It definitely feels like a heavy helicopter, at least compared to the Mi-8. I assume it's definitely going to feel a lot heavier compared to like a Gazelle and a Huey. But that being said, it definitely feels like it takes a lot of damage. A lot of damage. You know, it lives up to that kind of tank reputation. It can definitely get fast very quickly. And it does feel nice to fly, especially when you actually have the autopilot stabilization stuff turned on, especially the yaw one. If you do a automatic hot-cold start, then for whatever reason they don't turn on the yaw stability in it. You have to manually do that. And once you have that on, it feels really, really good to fly. It's very easy. So yeah, you know, Mi-24 is actually pretty easy to fly. You just gotta make sure to stay within limits. You know, don't bank too hard, don't pull back too hard on the collective. All that, you know, it's pretty standard helicopter stuff. But you know, you can do pretty nice maneuvers in it when you have the space, for sure. The one thing I don't like though is that, you know, and this is probably systematic. This is probably symptomatic of just helicopters in general, especially coming from somebody who flies mostly 4th generation aircraft in the game, is the maneuverability. They definitely just don't feel super maneuverable. Well, obviously they're not super maneuverable, but you know what I mean. They don't feel very like you can just cut corners and stuff like that. Like you totally could if you just like don't give any mind to destroying your helicopter. Like you probably would destroy it in real life performing some of the maneuvers, but in the game it's not going to snap your rudders clean off, at least, or rotors clean off, as far as I can tell. So there's that. But you know, definitely when you're taking like random fire, like in this video, you know, I take random fire. You can hear it later on, and I just can't get out of there, right? You know, flying the 16, you can just pull as hard as you want. Same with the 18. I don't fly that though. And then with the F-15, you know, you can pull as hard as you want in moderation, and just maneuver out of there, right? You can't do that with the helicopters. You do have to, you know, like kind of baby it in a turn. That's the one thing I don't like about the helicopters, is that, you know, if you're gonna make a big sweeping turn, you know, it feels good, it feels great, it's really fun. But when you have to make like a quick turn, a brake turn or something like that, it's just not happening, you know. It's just way too difficult, at least for me. You know, there's probably a secret to it, but I just, you know, I haven't figured it out. So yeah, the other thing is definitely doing landings. I'm not very good at the landings, and I think it has a lot to do with my collective and rudder. It's still not very intuitive to me, the way you're supposed to kick the rudder with the collective. I know you're supposed to do like opposite rudder to whatever direction you're pushing the collective, I think, depending on the rotor. With the Russian helicopters, they spin clockwise. With NATO helicopters, I believe it's counterclockwise. So the way you have to kick it is different. I wouldn't really know that again, though, because I haven't flown the NATO helicopters. But yeah, as far as using the helicopter in the actual attack mode, besides flying it, it feels really good to use in the attack mode. I really love the 30mm gun. I wish it did more damage, though, and that's probably just an issue with the game itself, because unlike something like War Thunder, right, which has it has accurate and more detailed modeling of systems and internals of ground vehicles and the like, and actual proper damage models in that way. DCS just has health bars, right, and no like actual systems modeling for ground vehicles, especially. Even aircraft don't actually have system modeling as far as damage is concerned. You basically just, whenever you take damage in the game, it's not necessarily on a health bar, but it is basically RNG what gets damaged in your aircraft. There's no like, oh, the missile exploded in your hind quarter of your aircraft, so it's going to damage these components back here. It doesn't really do that. It kind of just like rolls the dice. Also, you know, missiles and stuff like that, they tend to just blow up on your aircraft because of the way this game is modeled, again, where proxy fusing is not based on the actual external model of the aircraft. It's based on the position, an infinitesimal point of the position of the head of your pilot. So if you ever look at TAC view and stuff like that, and a missile misses by like 8 feet, or like 8 feet would probably hit. If it misses by like 30 feet or something like that, it's because it didn't proxy fuse on your head. So keep that in mind. You know, damage modeling isn't really sophisticated in this game, unfortunately. A lot of the modelers do a really great job at modeling the systems, but they just can't get around the hump of, like, you know, things actually getting damaged. Anyway, that was a long explanation for saying that I think the 30mm gun could be better. So, yeah, the health bars and stuff, like with M113s, you'd think this 30mm gun would just shred an M113. You know, the battle taxi would just get annihilated by this thing. And that's not really the case. You light up an M113, you just absolutely, like, light it up. And it just doesn't go down. I really don't like that. You know, the soft skin vehicles, they go down in one shot or whatever, because again, you know, it's health bar related, so they would obviously have like 0 health. But the M113s, they just do not, you know, take hits from those. So the rockets really are needed there. Unfortunately, didn't have rockets available to me, or like they wouldn't work in this flyout. So I wish the 30mm gun was better. Rockets feel really good to use in this thing, that's for sure. I really do like using the rockets. The only quirk is that the gun sight requires that you're on level ground, so when you're flying on ECW, on the Syria map, or just like any other map, and you're shooting rockets in hills or mountains, you have to be aware that the gun sight is like inertially driven and calculated assuming that you're on level terrain. So if the thing is on a hill or you're on a hill looking down at it, the aim is going to be off. So, and that's not hard because you just take one burst just to check your aim, and then you just correct as needed. So it's really not that hard, but it's nice. The gun sight's definitely very nice and easy to use. ATGMs are pretty good. I really like using the ATGMs. Out of the small amount of time that I use the ATGMs, I really enjoyed them. They definitely hit. They do their thing. In the tutorial video, they make you miss, I think. Or the tutorial mission, I think they make you miss just to like show you that it's not accurate. But I didn't have any problems, you know, practicing on my own time and flying on this with the ATGMs. They just hit, which is nice. So there's that. You know, ATGM, they sound good. They come off really nice. And the only quirk is that you have to line up, you know, like the center circle with where you're shooting, otherwise it won't come off. You know, it got to be bore sight aligned and all that stuff to work. But yeah, so also the Mi-24, the startup procedure is kind of lengthy. It's really lengthy. But once you have everything set up, the flying part is very easy. It was quite intuitive to actually learn how to fly. So yeah, so if you're in the market for a helicopter, I would suggest trialing the Mi-24P before buying it. If you can do a trial on it, it's a very fun helicopter to fly for the attack role. It's pretty much the only one you could do for a legitimate attack role. All the other helicopters, well, I guess the Gazelle has ATGMs and stuff like that as well, but the Huey doesn't and the Mi-8 doesn't. I would hope that they add like actually no, I don't think they can, but you know what I mean. Also, here's a clip, you know, like the 30mm gun. You'd think it, I mean, my accuracy is not super great, but you'd think that the 30mm would shred the M113 just from like a couple of hits, especially at this high fire rate. Like, I mean, I'm whiffing there, but that first one closer, I definitely hit a few times. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, if you're looking for a helicopter to try out, I would definitely try out the Mi-24, because you get to do more in it. Like, you can still do troop drops and stuff like that in the ECW. You know, the Hind does actually have a crew compartment for troops to sit in. It's not as large as something like the Mi-8s or even the Hueys, but it is still there. And but you get a lot more. You get tons more weapons. You get a gun attached to your thing. You get ATGMs. And it does just feel nice. It looks great to fly. I'll tell you that. That's also one thing that's nice. The Mi-8 is still on a very old looking, like, it looks like FC3, where the Mi-8 doesn't, or Mi-24 doesn't look like it's FC3. It looks like, you know, it's a proper module. But the, but yeah, so if you're looking for a module to helicopter to try out, I'd definitely give it a try. It's very heavy though. It's chunky. So the landing you know, doing things like landing and taking off might be a little bit more difficult just because it is heavy. But once you get in the air, it's not that big of a deal. I hope my thoughts and stuff like that came across okay. But yeah. So anyways, yeah. So like I said, you can take a lot of punishment in the Mi-24, but you can't take infinite punishment. So yeah, I'm going down here, and gonna get hit again here, and it's gonna be, yep, there we go. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you liked my thoughts on the Mi-24, there probably won't be any more content on it going forward, but yeah, I want to thank you guys all for watching, and have a nice day.